Virginia's throwing a bloody good birthday party, but you better pray you're not invited because it's her party and she'll kill if she wants to. She'll kill if she wants to. We watched Happy Birthday to Me. We watched it so you don't have to. So you know what that means.
Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Enjoy the show.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Moon Goons. This is the second episode of 2016. Obviously, again, not our second episode, but we...
If we start doing that, it's like, it's the 20th
right.
episode
I
of 2016.
Yeah, I shouldn't even done that. Forget I said it. Fuck it. Anyway, let's start over. Welcome, Moon Goons. This is Horrible Horror, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. The movies so bad they're scary. I'm your host, Marshall Hampton. With me, almost always, but with me most of the time is, as today, my good friend and co-host, Mr. Aaron Southworth.
Hey, how's it going? Happy birthday, Marshall.
Yes, thank you.
Marshall is had his birthday yesterday, but today we are doing kind of a little tribute to him in the movie Happy Birthday to Me.
Yep, that is right. For all you wanting, my first digit of my age starts with a 3. The second digit is somewhere between a 1 and a 9. You can figure it out.
Figure it out, Moon Goons. All right.
Yeah.
So you think he's closer to the other spectrum, considering he's already getting sensitive about his age. It's kind of cute.
Fuck you. So, anyway, Happy Birthday to Me is I think like a kind of overlooked and kind of forgotten about slasher movie from 1981. It was released on May 15th of 1981. So I don't know if I don't have any box office, so I don't know if it was a theater movie. I would assume it would be. Most movies were in back then. I think.
Well, it was done by Columbia Pictures.
Yeah, it was a Columbia release, so I'm gonna assume it was in the theaters.
And Columbia Pictures is a big studio, so they made some real big movies. So this is actually pretty well produced.
Yeah, it actually is. It was first released on DVD for the first time in 2004 or 2005, one of the two. I don't remember exactly which one. But and that was by Sony. And then it was re-released on DVD in 2009 by Anchor Bay. And the reason for that was there was so much controversy, or I shouldn't say controversy, but so many people pissed off about the first DVD release because Sony, for some reason, decided to completely trash the original score, the musical, and just redo all the music, and it made like shit, like electronic, electric shit.
That's one thing in my notes that I put is I really, really enjoy the score of this film. It's really well done.
That's why I'm bringing this up, because the original, which is what we watched, the Anchor Bay re-release, they kept the original music in, and the music is really pretty good. I mean,
it sets the tone.
It does. It's eerie. It's creepy. There's some good stuff. And that's why I was like, why? What's the big deal? But then, if I haven't heard the remake, but so many people, I mean, it was outraged. All the fans of this movie.
Wow.
Like, fuck you. We want the original score back. It's like you completely ruined this movie. You went from good to like shit with this new music. So Sony, I don't know why they didn't do that. I don't know why. But then Anchor Bay got the rights, and they said, you know what? We're redoing it all. We'll go back to the original, and that's what it is. So now when you get, I got mine on Amazon digital. So, but it was the score. So now you can get it, the Anchor Bay version, original score intact.
So
like it's meant to be.
Did you even look on iTunes?
I did not look on iTunes,
because that's where I found it.
Yeah, I'm saying it's on iTunes, it's on Vudu, and it's on Flickster. I just went through Amazon.
This was another thing that I thought was interesting too. I found it on YouTube for rental. I don't know if anybody else has seen this.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, I go on YouTube occasionally here and there. I'm just like your average user. I watch like little videos that I'm interested in, and my secret fetish of just cute little sleepy cats.
Everybody loves cat videos.
Whatever. Anyway, I looked up this film on YouTube, and it was for rental for $2.99, and I've never seen that before. So
that's, I guess you do something to keep up with the demand for movies.
The
that people are-
competition and, yeah. So
So I thought that was weird too. But one thing about this movie that just makes it stand out above other horror movies, not just of its time, but of horror movies even today, is its runtime. It's long.
Yeah.
It is an hour and 50 minutes. That is a long movie, especially for a horror movie. That's
Yeah.
long.
However, it moved pretty good. The pacing wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's long and it can feel that way, but at the same time, it's not like, oh god, it just keeps going. It balances nicely.
The pacing's pretty good.
It was written by John C.W. Saxton and Peter Jobin, and directed by J. Lee Thompson. The cast really, unless you're like an '80s, fan, you're not really gonna notice it. The big get in this movie, the big star is who plays the lead is Melissa Sue Anderson, and her claim to fame was that she was Mary Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie. That was her big thing. She was one of the Little House girls, and but the only thing I found funny, the only other person I've noted is Glenn Ford, who was a pretty big actor in the 70s and 80s. He played Paul Kent in the Superman franchise. Superman, so he's
Okay.
Superman's dad.
Superman's dad.
The only other thing I even found interesting about the cast, and other people might think it's retarded as all hell, but for me, there's a crazy nerd connection with the people in this cast. Besides, like I said, Melissa Sue Anderson, besides doing Little House on the Prairie, her nerd connection she did voiceover work for Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, the cartoon, where she
Ooh.
voiced Kitty Pryde / Sprite.
Ooh.
She was in the very first X-Men video game on Sega, where she voiced Emma Frost.
Ah!
She in the X-Men cartoon series, that awesome cartoon series from the 90s.
Yeah.
She voiced Snowbird. And in
Okay.
X-Men 2, the Clone Wars Sega video game, she also did Emma Frost.
It's very interesting. I mean, now this is not the first time we've had an X-Men voiceover
No, we had the guy who did
connection.
Gambit.
Yeah.
And he did something. I think somebody did like some Cyclops somewhere along the line.
Oh, what movie was it? It was a couple movies ago.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was the killer from Jack Frost.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Now, moving on. The other big name, a name that would be recognized in the 80s, and for you soap opera lovers, if you're actually listening to this, is Tracy E. Bergman, who is a soap opera, I guess, Hall of Famer at the time, because she was on The Young and the Restless.
This one was the lady who played the mom.
No, this was Anne. The girl who plays Anne.
Okay.
She was on The Young and the Restless, where she played a character of Lauren Fenmar, where she was 1,046 episodes from 1984 to 2015.
God damn.
That is insane.
God damn.
And then she did The Bold and Beautiful, where she played the same character for 224 episodes, and had a 2-year run on Days of Our Lives. So that is an insane amount of work for her. So kudos for you for working that long.
Man, I think that'd be such a
awesome.
cool gig
Yeah.
if you're a shitty actor landing a spot on a soap opera. Man.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, this was not her first acting gig by any means, because she's on these soap operas.
Yeah.
But on the movie, she gets an introducing.
Yeah.
It's introducing her. So this was her first motion picture or movie, but obviously not her first gig. And I'm back to my nerdiness. The guy.
Can we jump into it?
Shut up! No, shut your mouth. Because I did my research. I'm fucking saying it.
All right.
All right, so Steve Maxwell, Matt Craven, who plays Steve Maxwell in the movie, one of the top 10. He was in X-Men First Class, where he played CIA director David McCone.
Okay.
So another X-Men.
What is it with X-Men?
I don't know. And I'll keep this one for last. But Leslie Downson, who plays Bernadette O'Hare, she did all 13 episodes of the short-lived 1986 Ewoks TV show. So she was in a Star Wars TV show. And then the last one, which the only reason I bring it up is, well, you'll read it. Anyway, Lenore Zan, who played Maggie, voiceover work. She was in a new Ninja Turtles cartoon. She was in Milo Pony, Starcatcher. Sorry, you bronies out there or whatever. An Avengers cartoon, United They Stand, where she did Tigra. And for me, this is the big one that joined me.
Okay.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the video game. X-Men vs. Street Fighter. X-Men 2 Clone Wars. X-Men and the X-Men cartoon. She all did the voice for my favorite, Rogue.
Oh, sugar.
So that's
shit.
I'm sorry. So you had to sit through that, but fuck it. I found the person who did like my dream, my love of my life, almost my rogue. It was the girl in this movie who did her voice.
It's your party. You can nerd out if you want to.
Yeah, fuck you all. That's right, I can. All right, so now we'll jump into it.
All right.
Fuck everything else. So the movie opens when we meet Bernadette O'Hare, who's leaving her dorm room, and they're just like a big, like preppy private academy high school.
I couldn't tell if it was a prep school or a college, and I think it's kind of a combo. I mean,
it's weird. You would think it gives you the impression that it's like a prep academy, like a high school, because there's a headmistress and all that. But I don't know many colleges that have a headmistress. They have like deans and stuff like that.
Right,
but then their actions and the thing they're doing, like they're drinking. And
everyone's very cool with it, and very okay with
cool
it. So I'm thinking it's like.
But again, I'm thinking this is the 80s. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't know when they raised the drinking age to 21. It might have been, maybe for some reason, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe back in 80, 81, the drinking age was
We'll have to do our
still.
research because, man,
should have done that. Should have looked that one up.
It's definitely they're very adult in their in their actions.
Yeah, they totally are. So anyway, we're at this preppy private.
It's a prep school.
School. And she's leaving the dorm building. She's on her way to the Village Tavern, the inn. It's very old fashioned in this.
I love it. I think it was cool.
To meet up with the top 10.
And yes,
the top 10 now is basically the nickname for the preppy clique, the popular, the super rich kids of the school, the elite of the elite.
So they're rich, they're smart, they're athletic, they're the top 10.
No, yeah, basically. And so on her way, she encounters Mrs. Peterson, who is the headmistress, and basically the school's name is Crawford High, I think. It's like Crawford. It's something Crawford Academy or something like that.
Yeah, Crawford Academy. Yeah.
And I'm just like, which is also funny because I was like, is that any relation to Crawford Sanatorium, which was in last week's episode, New Year's Evil. So we had two Crawfords. Anyway, Bernadette, she gets in her car after her interaction with
Headmistress.
Mrs. Patterson, and she for some reason this blew me. I guess it's again because in the 80s thing, people are more trusting. But she opens up her car door immediately because it's unlocked, and then we found out she keeps her keys to her car in her glove box. So the car is unlocked. She just throws the keys in the glove box. That's it.
Do you remember how podcast we kept saying the excuse was, well, it was the 80s?
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing now.
It's the 80s.
It's the 80s.
That was last week's episode. So she's about to get the car started up, and she gets grabbed from behind by a mystery person in black gloves.
They're not wasting any time.
No, just jump right on him. I mean, it kind of gives, it's very reminiscent of, like, I guess where Scream was, like no more of, like, waiting for the first go. No, it's boom, right there.
So she's getting strangled. So there's strangulation. She's being drugged into the back seat.
Oh,
she's trying to honk her.
This scene.
Yeah, she's dragging her into the back seat. She's kicking. Her heels are scraping the roof of the car.
She's just like track marks from the heels.
Yeah,
on
she's scraped like the upholstery, like the roof is starting to get ripped up. I mean, it is signs. It's classic signs of a struggle, and it's really good.
We've seen people get strangled. I don't know how many times in the car from the back.
This is a fight for her life.
And they're always like, "Oh, strangle,
dead."
This is like she puts up a fucking fight.
Yeah, because
and it's good looking. She gets pulled from the front seat into the back,
and she's still fighting.
And
she's trying to kick out the window.
Yeah, she's trying to kick out the window.
Not trying to kick out the window. She manages to kick the door
open. Also, like it's almost. It never ends up in a rear, but it's like she's on top of her assaulter who's still strangling her. I mean, she might as well be in a rear naked choke at this time. But it's such a good struggle. And
and then she gets away. Yeah. She struggles so much that she does.
Die. You see her like, she's about to die. Okay, she relaxes. Okay, she's dead. But no, she's playing fucking possum.
Yeah.
The killer loosens his grip, and she springs out and bolts out the
door. Which
I
always think to myself, I would do that.
Yeah, I always thought I do something. Well, I just play dead for a little bit and let him think he's dead, and then you make your move. So she gets. And at this point, before she even bolts, I'm like, 5 minutes of the movie, we get her first kill. I'm on board. I'm in. But then, then comes a trick. She springs back, like she's running for her life. We see the killer open another car door, and kind of like he grabs her through an open window of another car, which was kind of neat. But she manages to get away, and she turns, and as she's running, she runs and bumps into someone she knows, but you don't see who it is because she's like, "Hey, you!" Like, "Hey, help me! Somebody's trying to kill me. Don't let him get me." But oh no, because this person she knows pulls out a straight razor and just slashes her throat with it, just right off the bat.
Pretty well done too.
Yeah, I mean, it's for what I was expecting, or I should say, not what I was expecting. It was a nice opening.
So we know that this is kind of almost a who done it.
It's totally a who's
for
done
the
it.
first part of the movie. It's a who done it. Who's the killer? And it's because obviously she's like, oh, it's you. Help me. So it's somebody known.
Yes. So before it would. So yeah,
And gets
I
killed.
just left
Yeah.
she gets killed. So we cut to
And then we go to the inn.
Yeah, there's a quick setup scene, establishing scene of this town's drawbridge, which kind of plays a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a bridge, gets raised up in the middle for boats to go underneath it, and they show it raising, and then we go to the inn where you meet the rest of the top 10, and they're all sitting around drinking and smoking.
Huge beers, by the way.
Yeah, like big old stein, like
Proper.
pints and
Proper beers.
very,
They didn't fuck around
no,
in the
they
80s.
did not. So but the preppy, our main group, they're getting pissed off
'Cause
by the
there's-
local Shriner.
There's like
group.
the Shriner group or Order of the Moosehead or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah, Elks or
like
something, yeah.
just one of those old men groups that get together and just be
they're wearing like
shit-faced.
the fezzes.
They're
or
wearing
what-
fez hats. They look like Shriners.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're singing 99 bottles of beer.
And they're singing they're counting
Yeah.
all the
I mean,
way
they
down.
started like 97 when the scene starts.
Mhm.
Speaking of drinking, I'm about to crack open my brand new bottle of Johnny Walker Double Black Scotch. Ooh, hear that? That's brand new opening.
Mm.
I'm pouring me off a little birthday drink right here. I'm gonna enjoy this.
Marshall drinks it neat.
I drink mine neat. Yes, I do.
I like mine on the rocks.
I'm-
If you would, please.
I
I
will
appreciate
share
it.
some
Thank
here.
you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
All
to
right,
me.
that's good. Thank you.
All right, now that we have our drinks, let's talk about them drinking.
Rocks, baby.
And so, shortly after this group or the scene's established, in comes Alfred, who is the odd one of the group, and which is weird because like everybody else in this group is supposed to be like the jocks, the pretty boys,
So,
the preppy, and he's the
again,
weird, geeky.
Top 10 are the smart, good-looking, rich, athletic types, and
Yeah.
I'm guessing Alfred is incredibly intelligent.
He's
and
he's a smart science.
he's a
dude.
smart
And
science
obviously-
guy, but he's kind of the creepy,
Yeah, but
odd
which is
duck.
weird because obviously his family has to be rich from the top 10. So I guess that's the only requirement because they make fun of him like the whole time. So like, if they really don't like, why is he even in this group to begin with? Like, why is he a member of the top 10?
Well,
They don't
I mean,
even like him.
every group kind of has that one. There's usually an alpha and an omega. And he's kind of the omega of the group, the kind that everyone just kind of picks on a little bit, or just he's still part of the group, but is just kind of the low man on the totem pole.
Yeah,
That's what I
okay.
got out.
All right. So anyway, his main hobby we learn is taxidermy, and he carries around a pet mouse in his pocket named George. And so the blonde guy,
He's
one-
passing George around. Everyone's like, "Hey,
Hey,
George!"
So the blonde guy of the group,
Who looks a lot like fucking Karate Kid villain.
Billy Zapka. again?
Yes, he looks a shit like. What are they doing? They're
It's
just
the
like
80s, man.
it's the fucking 80s.
everybody had to have Billy Zapka.
Yeah.
Everybody
Before
had
Billy
Johnny.
Zabka was Billy Zabka, they were pumping him out.
Yeah.
And they perfected it with Billy Zabka. It was
Zabka.
like there's the version A, B, C, and then version D. Billy Zabka is like, oh, this is the ultimate. This is what we've been building to. It's why I swear to God.
So, so the Billy Zapka lookalike, he nearly starts a fight.
He
with the
can't
Shriners.
take bottles of beer on the
he
wall
cannot take
anymore.
because they started over.
Yeah.
They lost their count somewhere and like, oh, well, fuck it, let's start over from the top. So 100 bottles of beer. He's like, no! He
Yeah,
like fucking
yeah.
rages.
And it's a pretty funny scene. It's like the scene here is good. It's like you're getting to know the people. So
yeah.
gets up, gets in his face, and they're about to, they're getting nose to nose. And some of the top 10 come over and break it up. They're like,
Yeah.
"Hey guys, no, let's break it up. Here, we'll buy you a drink."
Yeah, at this point, we don't really know the names of
Yeah.
everybody yet, but they all wear these two-tone blue scarves,
Right.
two-tone striped scarves, which at first was, I thought it was like their
School colors or
school,
something.
like this is their thing, like you're on top 10 if you have the scarf, but then we learned it's basically just their school scarves. One of the guys in the top 10, I think we learned this later. His name's Rudy. I think it turns out to be Rudy. He orders a beer for the head Shrine guy. He's like, hey, let me.
Yeah,
buy you a
sorry,
beer.
sorry about my buddy getting upset. I'll buy you a beer.
Give me a pint. Give me a Stein. He gives a big old proper Stein. And but as he's, saying his words, he drops the mouse George into the beer right before it's served to the guy. And this nearly starts an
A
entire
riot.
tavern brawl.
Yeah, he's just like,
Everybody's-
"You fucking asshole! There's a rat in my beer!" And everyone gets up, everyone's just screaming, yelling. And it's like, looks like there's about to be a bar fight, and I'm like, "Yay!" Because I like seeing bar fights, I guess.
So the top 10 basically they run out of the bar and they're jumping in their cars, or one guy was on his motorcycle, and they see the drawbridge raised, like, hey, let's play basically
The game.
Jump the game.
Well, they call it the
jump
game.
the bridge. Let's
Yeah.
play the game. It's
Play the
basically
game.
jump the bridge.
And they're all running their cars or motorcycles.
Yeah, one's in the motorcycle.
And calling out their numbers. I'm 1, I'm
I'm
2,
two.
I'm 3. So they know what order to go in.
Yeah.
And it's kind of intriguing.
Yeah, and so it's basically a game of chicken, and you basically jump the drawbridge as it's raising. And it's like, does you're a chicken if you're the last one to go, do you make it or not? And the guy's like, I bet you $20 you chicken out. I was like, I'll take that back, and they go on, and so Virginia's in the back seat of Billy Zabka's car,
Right.
and she's
Which is a sweet fucking Trans Am.
Yeah.
Like a electric blue
Electric blue. It's got, like,
Trans
the
Am.
Firebird, like,
Oh,
painted
dude,
on
it's
it.
fucking sweet.
Yeah, it is. I think it's even like a T-top. I think, but the top's never down. So she's in the back seat. No, she's in the front seat. She's riding, and anyway, and she's like seeing what happens. She's like, no, don't do it.
So you see 1, 2, and then
Three.
like the first jump is a little jump. The next jump's bigger. It's like the bridges are getting
Right, right.
higher, so the jumps are getting more extreme.
Car 5 pushes out.
Yeah, he's like, fuck
that."
it.
But then Billy Zach was like, fuck you, and he's in the
He
dead
hits
last
the
car.
gas on his Trans Am.
Man, he's in the dead last spot, and he goes launching over the bridge. The car comes crashing on the other side. You see, like, bumper flies off, sparks are flying. It's
Dude,
Bad damage.
this scene, I just got to stop and talk about this scene in the movie. Now, this is in the 80s. These are the old days, the wild days, the Dirty Harry, Crazy Larry days. These are real people driving this car. This car goes it just about goes 100% vertical.
yeah, it almost is like straight down, like
Like,
a 90-degree angle with the ground.
Then they show the whole. I mean, it crashes and breaks the whole front of that Trans
Yeah.
Am off.
Yeah, it does.
And smashes back down. I mean, it's a real person driving this fucking car.
yeah, there's no CGI in this movie.
And it's an incredible scene.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe, like, and to be perfectly honest, if they really land like that, they'd be so fucked up.
Oh yeah, they would.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, so
Oh.
fucked up. So I'm like, am I here? This is for over a $20 bet. So I hope the $700 or several hundreds of dollars of repair work you're gonna have is worth the $20.
It was
that
80s.
You made up.
Dollars went a lot farther back then. Because that, man, it fucks that car up.
Yeah.
I mean, it could very well be totaled.
Yeah. So anyway, once they get to our side, Virginia or
And I'm sorry, but he just lands. And he's like, "Yeah, I made it."
yeah.
Not to mention that his fucking Trans Am is completely
yeah, he's like,
destroyed.
"Fuck my car." Like, yeah, we made it.
But I guess they're rich, snobby
Yeah,
bitches.
they can
So,
afford it.
yeah.
So Virginia, although as she's called throughout as Ginny,
Yeah,
as
they call her
nickname,
Ginny. Yeah.
she flips the fuck out because this was her first time ever playing the game.
And
She's
rightfully
the new
so.
girl. She's the new girl of
Goddamn.
the group. She's flipping the fuck out. She jumps out of the car and basically runs off into the woods. Now, this woods kind of ends up leading towards this little small
Yeah.
cemetery.
She goes running off in the woods, and they're all like, "We should go after her." And then everyone's like, "No, don't worry. She lives.
She
She
lives,
just
like,
lives
right
right
over
over the hill.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. She's running home.
Yeah, basically.
She's fine."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the way home, she comes to this little cemetery in the woods, and she pays respect to what we learn is her mother's. She stops at her mother's grave, pays some respects, and we see someone creeping around watching her. You see kind of a black black glove, and you see somebody wearing a scarf. You can obviously tell in the shadows that's kind of dangling around his or her neck. And I'm just for side note, Johnny Walker Double Black is smooth tasting scotch. This is going down smooth. So Johnny Walker, we like you. You want to throw some money this way? I'd be happy.
Yeah, I'm sure Johnny Walker.
Yeah, I'm sure Johnny Walker
is
can get that. But
banging down the door to
banging down
sponsor
our
Horrible
door.
Horror. Yeah.
You never know. You never know. So anyway, it turns out to be one of the guys from the group, which is pretty obvious at this point. But we still don't know his name at this point. I don't know who.
Right.
It's like I do know. I think it's the creepy foreign guy, not Alfred, but it's like the foreign guy.
Yeah, the French guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he is French. And he is like, "Let me walk you home" or something like that.
He's got a very bad French accent.
yeah, it's very bad. And he's really kind of creepy about it. She's like, "No, I know, I'm fine," and she heads home. But he decides to follow her home anyway and watches her through the window as Ginny has a conversation with her dad before she goes up to bed. Not to be outdone by, continuing on with this creepy factor, he decides to climb the lattice work outside onto her roof.
It's so funny because he's creeping behind the bushes, and then he's like looking like, how can I get onto the house? There's a lettuce, and then I can go to the window. Okay, I go.
Yeah.
And he just jumps. He scales the lattice like he's raped 1,000 people before.
Yeah,
just
like a rapey Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Up he goes. And he climbs the roof, and he opens up Ginny's window and climbs right into her bedroom.
Like he's done it 1,000 times.
Oh, God.
It's like, Pepe Le Pew was kind of rapey, too.
Oh, he was very rapey.
Maybe it's just all Frenchmen. Who knows?
Maybe. So, Ginny comes up. She's in her room. She starts putting on some music from her awesome tape player.
So disco.
Oh,
man, that was like soft disco. Yeah, it was awesome.
And she starts getting dressed so she can take a bath. And she has, I did notice, this is class. This just shows you how rich these and classy these people are. In her private bathroom, she has her own bidet.
Yes. Yes, you noticed the bidet too.
Of course I noticed the bidet.
Yes. Okay, good. Because I was watching it just while I was also cooking breakfast. I was watching it on my iPad. I'm just kind of walking around watching it. And I was like, is that a fucking bidet? And I went back and I'm like, it is. I want a bidet.
I know. I was like, God, that's class. That's class.
Here
right
I
there.
am using toilet paper like a sucker.
Yeah. Fuck toilet paper. Fucking savages.
No.
So, anyway, so the guy watches her for a bit. Like he creeps up, watches her like the crack in the doorway, and then he does leave. But he makes a noise on the way out.
She gets the sense that someone's there. She screams.
Because she makes a point. They show her going over and closing and locking the window.
Yes, and the window's back open.
Yeah, she hears the noise of it opening again. So when she goes out, she sees it's open, the wind's blowing in.
Screams,
and
and so
and she takes the guy now drops down to the ground. You see him dropping. He takes off right into the woods.
So right off the bat, Frenchie is
suspect
number one because that's a creepy fucking dude.
That's fucking creepy. So it cuts to the bright sunny day. I'm guessing it's the next day. You don't really know for sure. Ginny and Anne are late and they're running to class through campus, and they enter the class as Mrs. Patterson is talking to the biology class about the actions that took place the previous night at the tavern, about the group of students causing trouble.
Right.
So, now the biology class, they make a big deal of this galvanized probe and static electricity and twitching frog legs and all that.
Yeah, it's science 101, essentially. Yeah.
And she starts having just triggers flashbacks in Ginny.
Yeah, and it's weird because she's watching. So the professor's like, he's got like a shitty German accent. Yeah. Like, so if you pay attention, you'll see that I have the frog leg laid out. Is that German?
One's more Russian.
Yeah, it is. Okay, whatever.
Anyway, yeah.
My accents are off today.
That's all right.
Regardless, he's shocking this, frog legs to show the nerves still react to electricity, and then she gets this weird red light like shining on her face, and the camera starts to turn. It's like almost like a Wayne's World flashback. Like,
yeah.
Diddle-doo,
Early 80s. They gotta be original. So the flashback takes us to some sort of old hospital machine she's in. And
it's an MRI. Well, it's
not even an MRI. It's weird looking.
Yeah.
It's nothing I've ever seen before. And her head is wrapped in like cloth
bandages,
and her body's twitching all over. And the doctor tells her father that she's twitching because her brain tissue is reforming. This is some crazy Star Trek sci-fi medicine going on in this movie.
Where is this doctor now?
Yeah, where is this medical technology?
Sure would like to have this medical technology today. You can regrow brain tissue? Yeah. What a world. Exactly. Oh, wait. It's all bullshit.
So basically, we kind of learned that she, at this point in the flashbacks, she had been in a coma basically for months and is undergoing this new experimental treatment. And the machine starts beeping. And they take the head, so it's like, oh, we gotta get her out of there, something like that. So they take the headpiece, this plastic dome, like off of her head, and she just sits weird. Right up. I mean, it's like she hasn't moved in months, or she's not moving. She just sits straight up, eyes open,
trying to talk.
And the camera zooms out, but now the two doctors and her father are.
She's
gone.
all alone.
She's all alone, and she's stuttering something about her birthday,
trying to say stuff,
something, and that's it. And we go back to Ginny. in the present day who's talking now to Dr. David Faraday, who is either like her guidance, like a therapist.
It's a therapist. He's
yeah.
like her
Counselor,
hardcore therapist. Yeah.
And they're talking about her treatment, and he said something about how the medical procedure is based off of salamander DNA because salamanders can regrow tissue and limbs. So they use
So if a salamander loses its tail, it will regenerate.
So they did something like that with your brain cells or brain tissue.
Which
with
again,
salamander.
in the 80s is...
Crazy. What? Yeah, it's bananas.
I mean, I like the...
And then she's the first participant. So she's basically like this project's Weapon X. Is what she is.
Yeah, and you were the one. Wouldn't this be like world-shattering news?
Yeah.
Wouldn't this just be everyone would know? Like, do you remember Dolly the sheep?
I'm just about to bring Dolly the sheep up. Yes, I was just
the first. Everyone knows this famous fucking sheep from Scotland who was the first cloned sheep.
Oh, Sweden, but whatever. Yeah, it's
and
Dolly.
Here is this lady who is in a coma, and all of a sudden her brain has been regenerated, brought back from a coma state, basically brain dead, and now she's back, and she's back 100%, and woo! Yeah, no one knows.
Yeah.
No
Scientific
one knows.
American magazines, just nobody cares. It's
no one talks about it.
No.
The top 10 who are, it's supposed to be the top 10, don't know shit about it.
No shit.
Oh, she's the new girl in the group.
So basically, this is where we learn that she has memory loss, but the flashback or actually triggered something that brought back some, but not all of her memories. So now that sets up the rest of the movie as, okay, now we know she's going to start, more and more memories are going to start coming back to her. Now, this jumps us to a motorcycle dirt racetrack. Mid-race, the top 10 are cheering on one of their own who is in the race, and who, of course, the top 10 guy wins the race after basically kicking one of the racers off the track into a river.
To his credit, the other guy was kicking him first.
Okay.
It kind of came down to like Ben-Hur, that chariot race.
I was thinking like the old Sega game Road Rash, which I used to play. The motorcycle game was like we're basically hitting each other like fucking chains and then kicking each other off motorcycles.
But it made me think of Ben-Hur when they're doing the chariot race
and
they're going back and forth and they're racing and the guy starts kicking him, but the top 10 dude gets the upper hand and kicks him into the ravine or the
river, creek or whatever it is,
and he wins and everyone's like woo.
And
so
it turns out
they win $200 and
because Steve, I think it's Steve, the one with the crazy hair.
I don't know any of their names.
He is a fucking gambler-aholic.
I like him.
He bets on everything.
I like that guy.
And so the winner turned out to be the creepy foreign guy that crept into Ginny's room. And
what was his name again?
Estevev or something.
No,
you know what? Actually, it is. It's something really weird because I actually wrote this down to make sure. The top 10. Let's clear this up. Top 10 includes Virginia, who's a newbie, Anne, Maggie, Amelia, Rudy, Steve, Greg, Alfred, Bernadette. Oh, I just wrote down foreign guy.
Ah!
But
it was like Ilya or something like that.
On IMDb, it's like Estevine, or it's some weird it's a weird stupid ass name. Who cares?
Damn it.
I
liked it. I liked his name.
Ilya.
Was it Ilya?
I don't know. It's foreign guy.
I really like his name.
So, anyway,
we're very PC over here. Fucking foreign guy.
Yeah, fuck him. So Ginny congratulates him on the win, and he tells her, of course he was going to win, because I had you close to my heart the whole time. And he pulls out a pair of Ginny's panties.
Yeah.
Which is the same pair we saw her take off when he crept into her room.
Yeah, because they're embroidered.
Yeah.
With like weird flowers.
Yeah, it's like yarn embroidered on like flowers in a heart. It's really weird. So she, of course, she's like, "Fuck you." She gets pissed.
Yeah, she was pretty creeped out by him.
She should be. That's fucking weird.
I'm the weird French guy who stole your panties and wear them when I'm like have them under my
under my jumpsuit or my biker suit or whatever it is.
So weird.
So during this scene, they just keep showing Alfred, who the entire time is looking pissed off. He's like angry. He's giving like the stink eye to people for some reason. He's just glaring all around.
Again, Alfred being the creepy weird.
Yeah, they really throw that down your throat pretty quickly.
I'm a creep.
So we shift scenes to someone sneaking down a set of stairs, which leads to a garage where the foreign guy is working on his bike. He's tuning it up. He's making, he's just tuning it up while he's wearing his top 10 scarf.
Yeah. And again,
as soon as I see this, I'm like, all right, no good's gonna come from that.
So I'm thinking to myself, it's a small room. It's not that big a room.
No, it's not. It's really not.
And he's running this dirt bike quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't you want a little ventilation?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Like, there's the carbon monoxide is just like building up in there.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Or
you
wouldn't
don't
you have
give a
like an
shit.
open garage when you're doing
Yeah,
this?
no, it's like in a small underground garage.
Yeah, it's a small
Which
underground.
is weird because they go downstairs into
Yeah.
like this concrete underground room. I mean, I guess there's some kind of.
It's almost like it's got dirt floors.
yeah,
Like
it's not. It doesn't have dirt floor, but you would think it does.
yeah, it's just
weird.
it's really rustic.
I was like, there's no goods come from him wearing the scarf into the scene. And you see the killer slowly approaching from behind.
It seems forever.
It does. They really. It's an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And Mario is why because the killer walks so fucking slow in these scenes.
And obviously he can't hear because yeah.
And so he basically walks. The killer walks up behind him and just takes the end of the scarf and tosses it into the turning rear wheel.
Into the spokes.
Into the spokes, and this yanks him face first into the tire, and you see his face like hit that blood, and the killer revs the throttle, causing his face to just get destroyed
apart,
by the tire being revved in his face. And then just hard cut back to a group of people, the group, the top 10, drinking at the tavern and wondering where Foreign Guy and Alfred are. So now they're like, where are both these guys? So now they've set up again. Alfred's still not there, and we just saw Foreign Guy get killed. So they're really, again, set up the creepy guy, trying to set him up as the killer.
Yeah, so they're now the suspect is
Alfred.
because the creepy, obviously Foreigner's dead.
Foreigner's dead.
So you eliminated your suspect.
Yeah. So after they leave the tavern, Ginny and Anne said, hey, let's go look for Alfred. And they sneak. They basically, everybody's breaking into his house here. They break into his house, use another open window, and head into his room.
I kind of like the scene because they're drunk.
They are a little drunk.
They're giggling and
yeah, they are drunk.
Mhm.
And so in his room, they find several stuffed animals, and
Taxidermies.
not the toy kind, but several like
Taxidermy, yeah.
and sculpting molds of human heads,
like or almost like death masks.
they're not death masks.
Well,
Basically,
it almost looks like a death mask.
yeah, but they're not. They're molds.
Yeah, they're molds.
For anybody out there who watches the show Face Off on Sci-Fi, they're the molds people you slap clay on to sculpt masks or do sculpting of a human face on. It's a sculpting mold. So they also spot something sitting in a tray under a cloth, and it looks like it's been bleeding, like there's blood in the tray.
Right.
So they creep up, and Anne removes the cloth, and they scream because it's the severed head of Bernadette sitting there, and they're like, ah!
Yeah. Bernadette's the girl from the beginning.
Yeah,
Ah! Yeah.
And there's blood in the tray, and the girls run for the door, but it's locked. And then Alfred appears behind him. He's like, "What are you doing here?" Getting all creepy.
Being creepy,
And he's
being
like,
weird.
we were worried. And they say, they try to, be all innocent. Like, we were worried about you, and you didn't show up at the tavern. We wanted to check on you. And so he gets all creepy. He's like, if you're good girls, you can be my next model, like Bernadette, my next model. That she was a great model.
Yeah.
And he then pulls out one of Bernadette's eyes, and he flips on a light to reveal that it's just a fake head. And it's blatantly obvious when it goes where you can tell it's just Bernadette's, the actress's head, like stuck to a hole.
Yeah.
And then they changed it to the fake one because it's so different.
It's night and day.
It's not. Yeah, it is night and day. So basically,
He's like, I made a mold. I
made a
Bernadette
death
head.
mask.
I made a Bernadette head.
I made a Bernadette death head. Yeah,
Because that's normal.
that's exactly. Yeah, that's normal. So that's that. And we cut to another day. I guess the next day at the school now. And the girls of the group are being questioned by Mrs. Patterson one at a time in her office. And they're being questioned about the disappearance of the two murdered kids. Like, what do you know? What have you seen them? You were the last one seen with them. Ginny basically gets assigned detention for the most part for some reason. I don't remember why. I was like, yeah, what? You don't want to talk? You're in detention. And she meets up with Anne. And I guess they either blow off detention because they just skipped over it.
Yeah.
She just meets up with Anne. And they decide to get the group together to go to the movie theater. So apparently this campus has its own movie theater. It's like the VA club or the
they're playing High Noon.
the film association.
I love Gary Cooper. Yeah.
So they're showing they go to their movie theater and watch the movie. After the movie, two of the guys get into a scuffle for some reason. I think it's Zapka and Rudy, I think.
Over a girl.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the blondes.
It's
I don't know
Maggie.
their fucking names.
Rudy and Maggie are like kind of a weird thing.
Yeah. So, this is something that's throughout the whole movie, too. They seem to swap
I was
girls.
just about to say,
They seem to swap girls and swap guys. Yeah.
Because the guys...
They just keep changing partners.
Rudy and Maggie are supposed to be a thing, but then Maggie gets pissed off when Rudy goes to hit on somebody else, but...
Then immediately she goes to somebody else.
The other girls don't care. Yeah. Like he's hitting on Maggie. He hits on Amelia. He hits on Jenny later in the movie. Blonde guy hits on everybody. Steve kisses Maggie in the tavern right in front of Rudy.
I can't keep up because I wasn't watching it that closely, but still, they were changing it. Boom, 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 boom,
every
boom,
scene,
boom.
somebody's making out with somebody into somebody else.
It's very incestuous top 10.
It's a very swinger-esque.
Yeah.
It's a swingers club, basically, is what it is.
But so there's a scuffle over a girl.
Yeah, there's a scuffle over the girl, and Billy Zabka, which is Greg. Greg's his name. Greg is the blonde guy, and
Let's
Rudy.
just call him Billy Zabka.
Okay, Billy Zabka, and Billy Zabka gets in his sweet blue Trans Am and drives off. While the others say, "Let's go have a drink at the tavern."
You notice they never showed the front of it?
I noticed that. The very next scene, this killer is creeping around outside of Billy Zabka's house, or the blue car.
Yeah.
Which, they do show, has now been magically restored to perfect condition.
Yep.
It is in tip-top shape.
He must have a hell of a guy.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's like, "Oh, don't worry, I got a guy who can buff that out.
Yeah.
I got a guy who can do that.
I
I got a guy. He must have the best guy in town."
Or
a stock, just a whole bunch of blue Trans Ams.
He bought like a 6-pack.
Yeah.
So Billy Zabka's in his room or something, and he's lifting weights on like such an 80s home.
This
press
just
gym.
screamed late 70s, early 80s.
And he's wearing the shortest shorts I've ever seen on a man ever. Wow.
I think my briefs are bigger than those.
Yeah.
So it's the old weight set for any guy who was a kid and saw his dad lift weights.
It's like how you could buy like the Sears catalog weight set.
Right. And so what they were made of, basically, is they're like cement or sand filled into.
My dad had. I grew up with these numbers. It's sand into like a plastic ring
or plastic
thing.
Like, or the ones I had were actually like concrete, just covered in plastic. You know, because the Weidmans, God, I forget the name of the brand.
I don't know.
It's not
Weidman.
Weidman.
I know what you're talking about. I think ours were sand.
Weeders.
All right.
Yeah.
So he's working out on this bench press, and
he's bench pressing about 100 pounds.
Yeah, I didn't do the math because I don't know. I didn't add it up. I was stupid. And he sees the killer walk in, and he's like, "Oh,
you see the person walk in, and they basically cut off from like the waist,
it's waist down, basically.
And you can see hands, but you can see they're wearing gloves.
They're wearing gloves, yeah.
And he
wearing gloves.
goes, "Oh, hey, what's up? Yeah, our group is breaking up. I think I agree. We need to get back together. Something's wrong." So then it's obviously somebody in the group.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Add more weight, please." And he's adding more weight, and he's bench pressing.
He also tells
more.
her that Amelia's coming over because Zabka and Amelia at this point we're kind of seen as something, but it doesn't fucking matter because.
So now that eliminates Amelia.
Yeah, because exactly it says, well, Amelia's coming over, so we know it's not her. And again, the blonde guy asks, "Hey, put on more weight for me," which the killer does. So this is the second time now the killer has put on more weight for him on his dumbbells. And this time he struggles to get that bench press.
So he's bench pressing probably 170 pounds, which is a good amount. And he's holding it up, and he's trying to return it back to put it to rack it again.
Yeah, I guess the rack or the pull or whatever. But
he's holding it, and the killer moves the rack away.
Yeah, she whatever. Pulls the rack
away,
and
he's just holding it, going, quit screwing around, put it back.
Yeah, his arms are shaking, he's sweating,
and he's just like, oh.
The best part,
the killer
grabs another weight,
25-pound weight,
and she
walks around slowly while he's holding it, just struggling, going, "No, come on, quit screwing around," trembling, sweating. The killer walks around the front, holding his 25-pound weight, lifts it up over his nuts, and just drops it about 4 feet onto his nuts. He's like, "Ah!" Drops the bar onto his neck. Blood spurts everywhere.
Yeah, we don't see if it's on his neck or his face and neck, but yeah, we don't see it, but we just hear blood splurt, and we see it spray. You see his hands hit the ground.
Oh
and
my
blood
god!
Everywhere.
Oh my god! I have a problem with this.
I mean, it's like his head, but just like got popped off like a grape or something like that.
I mean, really, if it was such a struggle, if you've lifted weights before, when you're at failure, it's going to start coming down on you. You're not just you don't fail with your arms locked. It starts coming down. It'll come. You're like, oh, it'll slowly start to lower onto you. Another thing, bench press like that, you roll.
That's
you
what I'm
just
saying. You
roll.
could
to
just
one
roll
side.
to the side and like the pole would be like hit the bench and you just roll off the other
Yeah,
side.
or you can kind of lower it to your waist and like, yeah, you know what? 170 pounds is heavy, but it's not that fucking heavy.
Well, the only thing I thought the same thing, but then I guess to make the argument that why he didn't just slowly lower it down is he was still trying to hold it on, and obviously this was a killer. The killer was somebody he knew, so I guess he thought this person would eventually just put the rack back.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
And then like okay, the killer drops a 25-pound weight on his fucking junk, and that is what like he's like oh, and he like that's caused him like lose his grip. So. I see both sides of that, but I had issues with it too. You could just roll to the side.
The hilarity of it is they dropped 25 pounds onto his nuts.
Yeah, on his nuts.
Which honestly is hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love it. I love it.
I love it too. So the killer is then seen getting into his sweet blue Trans Am as Amelia walks by into his dorm room carrying pizza in a 6-pack.
Sweet.
And this is where I finally learned the guy's name was Greg. And she enters the room, and the body and the blood are gone.
Everything's clean.
The killer just cleans this fucking thing up. Super spick and span. Like, no blood anywhere. Like, it's unbelievable the amount of clean that the person would have had done.
Cleanage?
Cleanage. Yeah, I don't know. That's not even a word. Cleanage. I made it up. This takes us to the next day, and the group is attending the Crawford Academy soccer game, which is fucking awful to watch.
I don't know. I kind of liked it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was so poorly done. Obviously it's a scripted sporting event, which aren't the easiest thing to do, but watching, I'm not even talking about just like the people with the ball, Rudy, remember the top 10 is on the team, who's dribbling the ball and trying to be a hero. But when I watch the opposing team, like supposed to defend against Rudy, it's awful.
They just run right past him.
They're just not even right. Some of them aren't even running past. They're just running alongside him. He's like, oh, I can't.
Oh,
guys, like you
can't
can
get
see
in
the
there.
guy, the actor is like, I'm not allowed to touch the ball. But he's like right there. It's like all he has to do is like stick his foot up. He's like, I can't touch the ball. I can't touch the ball. I just have to run along this guy.
Now, I agree with that, and I totally know what you're talking about. I guess the thing I liked about it is it just looked so prep school. They really captured the essence of prep school. Like, it was a great pitch. And the clock tower's in the background.
That would be
Everyone's
the field for the non-soccer.
Oh, okay.
fans.
Yes, the soccer field. Well, it's a pitch. Thank you. And it's very picturesque. It's very prep school. I mean, if you just took
it's in a nice field,
Mhm.
except for if this is a prep school, they'd probably have their own, I don't know, stadium or arena or something playing.
it's the 80s, Marshall.
I know, but it's just they just threw like some metal bleachers on the grass and said, "Here you go."
And did you notice all the cheerleaders had Crawford spelled out? It's
Crawford.
like,
C.
I'm the
R,
C. I'm the R. I'm the W. I'm the D.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they all have different letters, and they're all like, "Yay!"
Yeah.
And they're doing a cheer. They actually had a Crawford cheer, and half of them didn't know what the fuck
No,
they were doing.
they did not.
There's like left shark in this shit. You know, I mean,
Yes! Left shark!
It was pretty awesome.
So Rudy's not the only one on the team. We actually learned that the creepy guy Alfred is actually the goalie who wears his same like skull cap even in goal. Like he wears the same hat all the
He's
time.
always got this like dark brown skull cap.
brown
on.
or like
army green.
army green
Yeah,
to brown.
yeah.
But he never takes this thing off, and he's the goalie. So, so anyway, after the game, Rudy, the hero, asked Ginny to meet him at the chapel for some weird reason.
Well,
which is
because
weird.
Well, he's like, I won the yay.
He got the
he got the winning goal,
yeah.
and goes, yeah, I win. And then she comes up, everyone's like, all the top 10 are giving him high fives. And he goes, hey, I'm sorry for being a jerk. I'm sorry for starting that fight. And she goes, it's okay. He goes, yeah, I really like you. You want to meet at the chapel later? And she's like, okay, sure, I'll meet you at the chapel. At the chapel?
At the chapel.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and of course this pisses Maggie off because Maggie is the one who, at the beginning of the movie, is seen with him the most. It's supposed to be like his girl. But again, this is where we keep talking about the swapping. Like they just go back
like,
and forth all the
'cause
time.
She was also kind of with the guy who gambles a lot. every
Yeah,
day.
like
So
it's so weird.
and they look a lot alike, so it's hard to tell them apart.
Amelia
Like one
and
just
Maggie
has
are both blonde.
well, no, I'm talking about the guys. I mean,
Oh,
because
yeah.
the guys, one has dark bushy hair, the other one has lighter bushy hair. I mean, but like
Steve,
it's like
the Gamma guy, has longer, really crazy bushy hair. Rudy is more black with
Yeah,
more
yeah.
like a pompadour, almost like.
but
crazy
still kind of bushy.
Jufro.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then Billy Zabka is the blonde who stands out.
Obviously,
so.
you can tell Billy Zabka off right away, but he's
Yeah.
dead. So
Yeah, he's dead. So anyway, he's running to the chapel in his sweaty soccer gear. He doesn't even get like, hey, I'll meet you after I change or shower. He's straight in his gear, runs to the chapel.
I didn't get that. But anyway, go on. But yeah, he's going. He's leaving campus. I
Anyway,
thought he was going to his dorm
No, he stops
at the
and
garden.
He stops near this little rose bush, and we see him kind of rebury something.
When I
that's in the
saw him
ground.
stop, I thought, oh, he's gonna pick flowers
I think
for
that's what you're
her.
supposed to think.
That's what I thought. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, what a cute romantic
No,
gesture.
you don't see what
Nope.
he's buried, but there's something that's previously buried there that's kind of showing through the dirt. So he like reburies it.
He's burying evidence. I'm
and
thinking,
then,
okay,
and
this
then
is
he
the killer.
runs off again. So now he's magically changed clothes because in the very next scene is him and Jenny in the chapel. And this is where I first learned his name is actually Rudy. So it's been a while into the movie now. And he's leading her up to the bell tower, and the whole time he's just reciting really creepy poetry. Like really weird shit about death and all sorts of weird stuff.
Don't be sad if we die, for we will be living forever amongst the undead. And
Yeah, it's really weird.
you know, and he's doing great voices. He's like kind of harnessing Vincent Price in a way. Like he's doing
and he
great,
starts doing like Quasimodo impressions and all sorts of stuff. And
like Renfield and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets to the top of the tower, and he's like, "Hey, let's cut the rope to the bell. That'll be funny, ha ha ha." And he
That's just a dick move.
It is just a dick move.
I don't understand. So there's they're in the chapel and they go up in the tower where the bell is. So I guess the minister, whoever comes by to ring the bell, actually physically pulls a rope, ding dong, to signal what time it is.
Yeah.
So essentially, he's just saying, if I cut the rope just enough, when he pulls on it, it will break, and that's it. That's the gag. It's like
that's
it's
it.
just a dick move.
And
It's
even
not
Jenny's
that,
like, "That's stupid.
yeah,
Don't do that."
that's dumb.
But
yeah.
he pulls out a knife.
And he's being fucking creepy the whole
He
time.
is being
and he
really
pulls
creepy.
out a knife and he slams her, like, the only route of escape for her to get away
Is the trap
he
door.
shuts it. And
He
he
slams
slams
it
it
shut.
shut with
Yeah.
his foot, opens up a knife, and starts approaching her
starts really slowly walking towards her with
with
this knife.
crazy eyes.
Yeah, he does. But then just boom, quick cut to the floor of the chapel, and we see blood dripping down from the bell tower opening in the floor. And the priest walks in. He walks over to the rope. He rings the bell once, and the rope comes falling down, and the frayed end's all bloody. And we next see Ginny rushing into the hospital, and she has another flashback when she's
Before we get to that,
okay.
the priest, when he pulls it, he goes, Jesus! Which I thought was kind of funny. But when he picks up the rope, he looks at it, it's bloody and frayed. And then he sees the blood splatter.
Yeah.
And the priest just starts going, help! Murder!
Yeah, murder!
Like, what? What? You got murder from like a small pile of blood. I mean, yeah, I'd be like, oh, I need to investigate. Something wrong happened, but he just immediately leaps.
Yeah, straight to murder. I forgot about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
It's so weird.
huge jump to the conclusion there. So in the hospital, Ginny has another flashback triggered when a man in a gurney gets rolled past her
With a fucking huge head injury.
Yeah, I mean,
there's
it's-
blood everywhere.
his head's basically just mush.
Yeah.
And this flashback is of Ginny getting brain surgery herself, and I mean, it's just you actually see the scalp get cut open and brain, and her brain
Pretty graphic.
swells.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty
They're,
good
like
effect.
replacing the bone flap and everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it's right back to her freaking out in Dr. Faraday's office. So now she's gone from the whole hospital, flashback straight to therapist's office. So I don't know how she gets there or how she.
Yeah, it was a very confusing. Like, why is she at the hospital? She asked for the doctor. Is the doctor's office in the hospital?
I thought she was running there to check on. Well, it's revealed there that
Well,
Rudy.
this is the problem. This is a really shitty. This is a shitty edited scene because guys coming at her with a knife, cut to the preacher with the blood on the floor, screaming murder. Then you see Ginny running in the hospital. It's like, okay, I thought she might have been dead. She's not dead.
No.
What happened?
Exactly.
And she's asking about Dr. Faraday or David Dr. Faraday. Cuts to that weird scene, and then it cuts to her in the office of Dr. Faraday.
It's really confusing where.
It's a really bad
Because the
edit.
first time you see the Dr. I thought, okay, is this guy on campus? Like, is he like? Because she's after school, then he's in the office.
Sure.
So
And
you
the
don't really
office
know
is a very, it's like,
a nice big office.
Yeah, and you don't have nice, big, relaxing offices in a hospital.
No,
You
really-
might have a small office where you actually practice out of and you go to do your paperwork or whatever.
Yeah,
It's really confusing.
It is confusing. So anyway, Faraday, after that scene, he's now at his house, and he hears a radio report that talks about the missing students, and that's and then so he goes to the school. He's like, all right, all these students are missing. He goes to the school now. He goes to Crawford Academy, where we see cops and detectives are interviewing students. It's like
They're all in the library.
Everybody, it's like one big, massive investigation going on now.
People are murmuring. It's like, oh, so they're dredging the bottom of the river. They're looking for they're looking for bodies now.
And now outside, one of the kids' scarves is is unearthed in the rose garden.
Same rose garden that Rudy was burying.
It's right, it's where we saw him reburying thing, and it's a buried scarf. And then Ginny is in the library, and she's walking down one of the aisles, and Rudy's body just comes out of nowhere, falls down from the ceiling, like right in front of her, face down, or just dangling around. She screams. She's like, ah! She turns to run as Rudy's body falls to the ground, but Rudy grabs her ankle again.
All a joke.
All prank.
Yeah.
So.
And he says, why'd you leave me when we were in the bell tower? I cut my hand on the rope really bad. I had to get 15 stitches. His hand is bandaged up.
Yeah, it is.
So that's where the blood came from.
Yep.
That's what happened. And that's the swerve.
Yeah. So back outside.
Poorly executed.
It is poorly executed. So back outside, the cops also dig up a human skull. But after further investigation, it's fake because it belongs to the
Property.
Crawford Science, the Crawford Science Department. So at this point, we can just say Rudy is obviously making really bad pranks. He's a prank, I guess, because he's the one who drops the mouse into the beer. So he's the prankster.
Yeah.
He the bad rope prank, the I'm dead falling out of ceiling prank, and now I'm hiding a scarf in a skull in a rose garden prank. So, and nothing after that, nothing comes of it.
He's just thinking this is hilarious.
Yeah,
that's not very funny.
So Jenny now is somehow back with Dr. David Faraday again, and he tells her that it's her birthday is on Sunday, and she invites him over to dinner. So hey, come on over for dinner, or something like that. And this cuts immediately to the group smoking weed in the pool house, but underneath the pool. It's really weird. It's like they're down this concrete, like, underground walkway, but the pool is right next to it because there's this cutout where there's a window that looks into the pool.
Underwater.
Like, in the deep end. So it's, like...
It's a really bizarre little... It's hard to describe.
Yeah, you just kind of have to see it. It is hard to describe.
So it's kind of, I guess, the maintenance area where they keep equipment, or I guess the pool is heated or something.
But I just like, why would there be a window?
So it's a maintenance area, and it has a window into the pool. I guess the Olympic-sized pool that the school has, what have you. So they're all smoking a doobie, hanging out, chit-chat. And this is where it gets weird, because Rudy starts kissing Virginia.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is so weird.
And other people are like, the women and men are all mixed matched now. So they're all with different people all of a sudden, and they're all like smoking weed,
nobody
laughing.
Cares that he's kissing Ginny now, even though he's basically Maggie's girlfriend or boyfriend, and it's fucking. It makes no sense. It's impossible to keep track of, and at this point, it's just who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Just don't even try. So as they're chatting and smoking, Ginny sees the body of a girl sink to the bottom of the pool through the window, and her eyes are closed, so it looks like she's dead. She just drops,
and she's just
sinks
singing
in the pool,
and she's getting high, and she's had these weird flashbacks, so she freaks out and runs away.
She takes off running out to her car in the parking lot.
Now everyone's like, "What's going on, Virginia? What's going on?" They look over, and the girl who sunk to the bottom, all of a sudden looks up and goes, "Hey, everybody!"
Yeah, and she just swims to the surface.
Just swims to the surface, like she just likes to look like she's dead.
Like, I just like to sink to the bottom.
Well, that'd be a pretty fun gag if you knew people were smoking weed.
Yeah.
I would do that too. I'd probably be like, act like I'm dead, float by, and then people are like, ew, I'd be like, haha. You know, that's what she did. She just like, got him.
So Ginny's driving home now, and she gets more flashbacks of herself drowning now. Now she's drowning somewhere. And it's a pretty short flashback, but it's her drowning. And she heads back to the cemetery to her mom's grave, and again we see someone following her. And we all do know that this time at the grave, she keeps, like, in this little tin box or little metal box, she keeps a pair of garden shears that trim and keep the grave looking
Keep
nice.
the grounds looking nice.
Yes. So it turns out the person who found her is Alfred this time. And he comes up behind her, reaches into his coat pocket, and is about to pull something out. When Ginny spins around, she sees him and stabs him in the stomach with the garden shears that she keeps next to her mom's grave. So Alfred falls down dead while Ginny just stands over him, completely emotionless.
Now, Alfred was stalking her. He has the gloves on.
Yeah,
he
he
has
has the
black gloves on that the killer is always seen wearing.
Indeed.
He's reaching into his pocket. He pulls something out, and then she fucking stabs him
right in the gut. Like,
And then-
wham!
yeah, wham! And he falls to the ground. She has no emotion, and his hand starts to open.
Yep.
And it has a rose,
It's
a
a
white,
white
rose.
rose in there.
Oh, he was trying to be sweet and give her a flower.
Because throughout the whole movie, he's like, "Hey, can I buy you a beer? Can I buy you a beer?" But apparently, it says no. The rules of the top 10 is nobody can buy each. Everybody has to buy their own beer.
yeah,
But then one time, she says, "Alfred, you can buy me that beer now," or something like that. So Alfred, I guess, has the crush on her.
I want to be a member of the top 10.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everyone just buys their own drinks.
So now we cut to Ginny's dad back at his house, and he's rushing around, and he's obviously really hastily packing, and because he has to leave on some sort of work emergency. And he tells Ginny that he promises to be back by Sunday afternoon for your birthday, and he leaves. He drives off. He's gone. The very next scene is the school dance. And
Yeah, which is at a disco.
it has to be. I mean, I
Oh,
guess it's supposed to be like the gymnasium or something.
It's
but
a disco. The floor is flashing. There's disco music.
I don't think the floor
no,
is
there's
flashing.
there
you have lights that
Nope,
reflect. No.
nope. The floor is flashing. It's a fucking disco.
All right, I don't think I missed that. I'm still saying it's like somewhere in the school gymnasium or something.
disco.
Because I don't know, it's a school dance.
It's a sweet disco. There's disco music. There's
I'm not
disco.
saying there's not disco music.
disco
but
dancing.
you can decorate, like proms, decorate with lights and all that. But anyway,
disco.
everyone's dancing it up, having a good time.
Disco.
Now Steve
Disco.
starts putting the moves on Ginny,
Yeah.
and who they just saw making out with Rudy in the pool. So Steve's like, "Fuck you, Rudy! I'm gonna make out with the girl now."
Again, what we were talking about.
Exactly.
Everyone's just swapping around.
And so she's like, "Hey, and he starts putting on the moves and like, let's get out of here." And she's like, she's accepted. She's like, "All right."
This is my favorite part. She's just like, yeah, maybe we can go back. I make a really good midnight snack.
Are you hungry?
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you hungry? And he's just like, yeah.
Yep. So they leave, and Ginny tells Steve to meet him outside, and she tells Anne that she's gonna leave with Steve, and Anne's like, "Wait, what?" And she follows him. And now this is where again I see Maggie, Amelia, Anne, and Maggie are all dancing with guys who aren't members of the top 10 at this point. So we cut to Ginny and Steve lounging in front of a lit fireplace in Ginny's house.
This scene that they set up
Yeah.
is amazing. This looks like something out of like kind of like a 70s ski lodge or late 70s, early. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
completely.
big fire. He's laying down with like
It's like the only thing missing, like the bearskin rug.
it's the only thing that's missing is a bearskin rug. He's like laying down with a glass of wine or like a glass of cognac.
Yeah, they're
or something.
drinking wine.
And he's just laying. He's got the turtleneck sweater. He's just laying down in front of it. Big roaring fire. She comes up with like, it's not quite fondue, but it's skewers.
They're fucking shish kebabs.
Yeah, they're shish kebabs on fondue skewers. Yeah, like, but it's shish kebabs. Yeah,
Yeah.
she makes like big,
And
but
they find-
proper,
yeah, they're like big metal skewers. It's
Proper,
steak
yeah.
shish kebabs, basically.
proper handles, and they're
Yeah.
feeding each other and eating. She did make a midnight snack.
Yeah.
she does make a good midnight snack.
But so
Actual food.
Yeah, I mean, shish kebab. I mean, that's like real steak. I mean, they look good.
Yeah,
So-
I thought she was talking about sex. But apparently, she really was talking about food.
So they kiss a bit,
Yeah, they're smooching,
and
feeding
then
each
Ginny
other.
feeds him a shish kebab. Like he holds it out, and he takes it. And he's like, "Arr," and he takes the first bite off. He eats it, and he goes in for a second bite. When she fucking stabs the skewer straight in the back of his throat,
He's-
just killing him. He's like,
Pretty brutal.
it is.
That's a fucked up way to go.
Yeah, it
you
is.
think you're gonna get laid? You're eating steak, roaring fire, drinking some wine, only missing the bearskin rug. You got a turtleneck. You're good to go. And then you get stabbed in the throat for a metal skewer. Damn it!
So
Ugh.
the next day, Anne pulls up in her car outside Ginny's house, and she's honking, hollering. She wakes up a hungover Ginny.
She looks fucked up.
Yeah, she's like, what? What's going on?
She's waking up. She's like,
I
God
don't remember
damn.
anything from last night. That's important.
She's like, what time is it? It's past noon.
Yeah.
So she's been.
So Jean's like,
yeah.
fuck it. She tosses the keys out the window and she's like, hey, let yourself in. I'm going to go take a shower. So in the shower, Ginny has more flashbacks of her in the car with her mom, who has obviously been drinking and driving.
This is the best. So this is the longest flashback.
It is. They get longer from here on out.
It's a big flashback of the mom driving. She's so it's pouring down rain.
Heavy rainstorm.
Pouring down rain, and she's just she's can't see. And my first thought is just pull the fuck over.
Exactly.
But then I see her grab a bottle of whiskey and just starts chugging it, and I was like, oh, here we go. Now it's getting better.
And so they come to the drawbridge, which we see in the beginning, and the car gets stuck on the bridge.
So she's shit faced, and she's like, those motherfuckers, it's your birthday, those motherfuckers. She's saying she's just drunk and can't drive. Your father's a piece of shit. She's driving.
Yeah. The car gets stuck on the bridge.
The daughter says, Mom, the bridge. The bridge is coming up, but she slams on the brake and skids onto the bridge. So now the front part of the car is on one side of the bridge and the back side of the car is on the other.
Yeah,
and the bridge is going up.
And it opens up and the car falls into the river. Now
it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool because, again, this was back in the old days, the
a
wild
practical effect.
days.
They dropped a car into a fucking river.
Dirty Harry, Crazy Larry days.
Which they had it. They did it with two different cars or multiple.
Yeah,
times.
yeah, because they showed multiple
They
shots.
show it 4 times.
Yeah,
and 3 of the 4 times the car hits the water upside down.
like hood of the car first.
Yeah, roof of the car first.
Roof of the car
down.
first. Yeah,
but on the 4th time they show it, the car hits right side up.
like tires first.
Like,
yeah,
why you?
You just showed it 3 times in a row.
Yeah,
landing one way.
Your editor was asleep at the wheel on that one. Like, who's watching? It's like, all right, upside down, upside down, upside down, and he clearly shows right side. I'm like,
what?
Oh shit! Like, who? Where's your quality control? Who missed that?
What are they? They're driving a sweet fucking big Ford Fairlane. The
it's-
car is amazing.
Yeah, I mean they're rich, so yeah.
Oh.
Like, why even show the 4th one if the 4th one's fucked up? Just leave it at 3.
Yeah, you don't need a 4th
No.
to fuck it up.
So the car sinks and starts filling with water as Ginny and her mom are trapped inside. And her mother's like, take a deep breath and swim to the surface while I open the door. And she's like, no, Mom. And she's like, do it. So she opens the door.
So I'm thinking to myself, why doesn't the mom try? But they show her kind of like struggling with the seatbelt. I think they tried to show that she was like
if they do, it's very glossed over that mom's trapped.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense. Why doesn't mom try to make a run for it
Why don't
too?
both of them just swim to the surface. Yeah,
but she's like, she doesn't say I'm stuck, I'm trapped. But I think they kind of, because she's not raising her head above the water because Ginny's like sitting up. The water's probably about where the collarbones is.
Yeah, I was about to get collarbone level.
So Ginny keeps rising up a little bit higher in the water, but the mom stays at one spot. So it's kind of giving the impression that she's stuck. But it's really poorly done because
It is. They don't establish it very well.
Yeah.
And so she does. She opens the door, water floods in. Ginny swims away to the surface, leaving her mom to drown in the car.
And it was kind of graphic.
Yeah.
They showed the mom's face underwater. She's like, screaming. Bubbles are flying everywhere. She's fucking drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now jump back to the present day. Ginny snaps out of her daze, and her whole bathroom is flooded with water from the bathtub overflowing. And she pulls back the shower curtain and finds Anne's body submerged under the water, eyes open, looking dead.
This was really weird because they did this weird flash back and forth between Ginny screaming, body in the tub. Ginny screaming, body in the tub. Ginny first pulls back and looks at the body drowned under the tub.
Yeah.
She's screaming. They flash at Ginny screaming. They flash back to the body. The body now has a slit throat.
It's severed head.
And there's blood everywhere.
Yeah, it's
everywhere.
really weird. It's like, why
she
did they do
screams.
that?
They go back, and now the water's clear.
Well, yeah, it's
everything-
not just her. It's a completely severed head. It's like neck up.
Yeah.
No body, and just bloody ass water.
I don't.
And at this point, I wrote, I'm not sure what's happening anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with this. Like, why is this happening?
The editor kind of sucks
The editor just lost his fucking mind somewhere in this movie.
because we had problems with the bell tower, we had problems at the drawbridge, and now we got problems
car, and now
here.
the editor's just like all over the place.
Yeah.
Who knows what happened? So she starts screaming out, David, help! And all of a sudden, David Farley is there. It's like, what?
David's in his office. Huh?
Huh?
Oh, I
Like
hear
Superman,
Ginny
I hear.
crawling.
Yeah, Superman.
I must go. He's gone.
Yeah, and so
Ugh.
David Ferry is entering Ginny's house as Ginny tells him, like, I killed Anne. And he's like, slow down, show me. He's like, no.
He
And
drags
her
I don't know
ass.
how therapeutic this was.
Yeah.
You know, she's
It's not like,
screaming.
hey, wait here, I'll
she's
go
pulling,
look at it.
She's in her underwear. All she's got is like a t-shirt on, and he's this old man just grabs her in her panties and just dragging her upstairs like, you show me.
Yeah.
You show me. I'm like, if you just turned it on and that's what you saw, you'd be like, oh, this is a rape scene. But he's dragging her upstairs like, you show me the body. And, you know, she's screaming and fighting, and he finally opens the door, and there's no body.
Right.
No body,
It's
no
completely
blood,
gone. No.
whatever the fuck was going on.
The water's all gone. The
Yeah.
floor's completely
Yeah,
dry.
yeah.
Everything's pristine. And so they're downstairs now talking in front of the fireplace, and he asks, like, what relates the trauma to her friends? Like, what's
Right.
this connection? And she's like, the bridge. So she has this, and he tells her that David says, like, okay, I'll stay with you till your father gets home.
Right.
And so they hang out. It's now midnight, so it's now officially her birthday. It's Sunday at 12.
It's my birthday.
It's my birthday. So now we cut to the cops searching the woods along the road out front of Ginny's house. As the detective pulls up to her house and starts knocking on her door, David answers like, hey, I want to talk to Ginny. She's like, nope, she's not feeling well. And the detective tells David that Anne is now gone missing. So, David he's reading the newspaper, and he's like, what? Some catches his eye, but you don't see what it is right away.
Yeah.
And he goes to tell Ginny that Anne is missing and shows her the paper. And the front page is all the missing students.
So it's a 5 or 6 missing students.
Yeah, all their
And it
headshots.
tells their names, their school photos, and what's happening. Yeah.
And we get another fucking flashback of before the accident. And this is on a previous birthday party. This is like the big flash.
Long
big,
flashback,
long
yeah.
one. And Ginny's mother was planning a birthday party out in like this little cottage that's on like the back acres of their land.
Yeah.
Like this little tucked away cottage. And the mother's invited all the missing students to the party.
And she even says, this is the richest of the rich, the most
richest kids in
elite.
town, yeah.
These are the most elite students at Crawford Academy.
Yep.
So, and nothing's too good for my daughter.
Exactly. And
I'm
none
gonna-
of them show up.
And none of them are there. The party's at 4. It's 5 o'clock, and mom's getting hammered.
Yeah. And you can hear the thunderstorm start rolling in from the distance. The phone rings. It's her father calling to tell her that he can't make it home because, again, he's away on work, some work emergency. And Ginny's like, tells her mom that she heard the others talking about a party at Anne's house. And that's why no one showed up, because they all went to Anne's Anne's party. So Mommy Dearest decides to crash Anne's party.
Mommy dearest. Yeah, she does.
But she never makes it past the security gate
She's
and the gate man.
This is like really smacks of desperation.
Oh,
this
it's
mom,
so
and so
bad.
it kind of gave you a good idea of what the mom is fucked up.
This was like something you would see almost like you would see this like nowadays like a housewife show. Like I
Right.
could see like a housewife of New Jersey, some drunken house like you did it, just going
So
crazy.
this is
outside.
kind of this is the sense I got from it, is that mom used to be white trash and is now rich,
Yeah.
like married rich or fell into money somehow. And she was like, "You're not good. You're not too good for my daughter. I'm rich now. You let her in. I can buy it. I will never be bought again. I have money." She's like pounding on the gates.
Yeah, it's exactly what she says.
It's pouring down rain. She's getting wet. Just total white trashing it out.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can take the white trash out of the, I don't know,
Trailer park.
but you can't take the trailer park out of the white trash.
Yeah.
She's banging on the gates.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm never gonna be bought off again.
Yeah, and
And-
the security guard's like, "Go home.
Yeah.
Take your daughter and go home.
He's
Get
like-
out of here."
He's like, you rich suck up. She says like, I swear those rich suck up assholes will pay. She makes him a threat, and we snap back to Ginny waking up screaming in bed while David tries to calm her down, and she manages to get away from him. She runs off, and we see someone pick up a fireplace poker, walk down the hallway. The camera shows a barefooted girl holding the poker, but we don't see the face.
Yeah.
And she walks up behind David and bashes him over the head, killing him.
Jesus
But
Christ.
it's not just the head. Like this thing goes like must have gone like through his head because it shatters a closet door.
His skull must be made of
Like,
plexiglass.
yeah, or
you
Jello
know?
or something like that.
Yeah,
it
because
just gets blood explodes everywhere.
I mean, its blood is everywhere.
I
It's
mean,
like his head shattered. It was like an eggshell.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
like
just,
the scene in the original Halloween where Michael Myers like breaking through the closet to get Laurie Strode. It's kind of like that. I mean, this firebug just shatters this goddamn closet door
and blood is
everywhere.
it from floor to ceiling covered.
Yeah. Another I was gonna say his head must be kind of like a Gallagher watermelon.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
if you ever see Gallagher smash one,
Yeah,
that's what happens to
it's-
this guy's head. Anyway, outside, Ginny's father is pulling up, and he gets out of the car with Rat's birthday present. So he's like, "Oh, you remember?"
I made it back. I made it home in time.
Yep, he goes inside and he gets down and covers him with his coat because he wants to be a big surprise. He's like, "Jenny, I'm home. Jenny, where Jenny?" And he's like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" So he goes upstairs and he finds the blood-drenched room, but the body's gone. He just sees blood everywhere, and he just goes nuts. He's like, "Ah, Jenny, where
He goes,
are you?
goes,
Jenny,
Jenny, Jenny. Yeah.
So he makes his way out to the cemetery where he spots a girl in a raincoat, and he runs up to her, spins around, but it's not Ginny, it's Amelia,
Yeah.
looking like she's in a deep trance, holding a birthday present.
This was so weird.
I thought so too. Like, what the fuck is happening?
She's
Why?
standing in the pouring rain, staring at the cottage, just like, and she looks like she's fucking gone.
Yeah.
Like, no, lights
Like
are on.
lobotomy. Like,
nobody's
yeah.
home.
Like, why?
The guy
it
spins
makes
her
no
around,
sense to me.
and she's just looking through him. Like, it's gone. Like,
Yeah,
she's
I
just.
don't understand what's happening there.
Yeah, she's just gone.
So the father rushes off to the cottage,
Well,
and
no, he rushes over to the cemetery.
no, the cemetery is first, and then the
Oh,
cottage.
okay. Well, we didn't talk about the cemetery. Rush to the cemetery. There's
Well, that's what's coming up. Yeah,
go on.
you're,
I lost track.
you
Go
lost
on.
track. All right. So he rushes off to the cottage, but as he's going there, in the cemetery, he comes along a dug up casket, and he opens up the casket, and it's empty. There's nothing in there, and but then he just looks to his left or his right. He just like looks to the side,
Yeah.
and he sees the dead body of David Faraday. Just like, how'd you not see that originally? Like right there.
Well, I mean, it's dark. It's raining. There's thunderbolts. I mean,
I
you
don't
know.
know, but it's like you would think a dead body like right next to a cat. Anyway, he finds the body. He finally makes it to the couch. It's all dark inside, but into the darkness we can see the outlines of people sitting around a table. You see like
Yeah.
an outline of a head or some shoulders, and the table has what looks like an old cake on it, like in the middle of and his party hats around in front of each person, and he spins around the bodies around, and it's the decayed corpse of his wife, Ginny's mother Estelle.
There's maggots
Oh,
on
there's
it.
maggots.
It
It
really
looks pretty fucking gross.
It
It's
does.
a good job.
Looks, yeah.
They
It
did a
looks
good
like it's
job.
been sitting there for a while.
Long time.
It's gross.
And so in comes Ginny singing "Happy Birthday" to me, and carrying
Big, beautiful cake.
big beautiful cake with candles, adorned with candles. She places the cake on the middle of the table, and the light from the candle illuminates the room enough to see all the bodies of the murdered kids sitting around the table.
So you got all the kids that have been murdered all set into place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And seeing her father, she picks up a cutting knife, and she approaches him, and she takes his hand, and she leads him to an empty chair at the table.
And Dad is like,
He's
just
stunned.
going,
He's like, "What the
he's just like stupefied. He's just going, Ginny.
Yeah, he's
This is where I kind of lose a little bit. I'm like, he just goes, Ginny. And you see all these dead bodies, your fucking bonkers daughter, and all he does is close his eyes the whole time. He just closes his eyes like, no,
yeah.
no. I'm like, really, dude?
Yeah.
Come on.
So
I just want to wake up.
he sits down, and she places the party hat on his head.
Which is kind of funny.
Yeah, and she blows out the candles and cuts the cake. He starts blaming himself, like, "What did I do to you? The doctors were so sure."
He starts saying weird shit like the doctors were so sure you'd be okay, you'd be all right. You know, this weird experimental thing that was just glossed over the beginning.
Yeah.
Now comes all the way to the end.
Exactly.
You know,
And she's like, Ginny's starting to shout like, "Bastard!" And she spins and slits the father's throat with the cutting knife.
like the flick of a wrist, his
just
throat is
right
slashed.
gone. He falls over dead.
Dead.
Now, Ginny she turns up the light from a kerosene lamp, and she turns towards the body of one of the girls who we see is slumped over on the table, her head's on
Who
the
we
table.
think is what's her name?
You probably think you're supposed to think it's Anne.
Right.
And she says, "Now for you, bitch." She lifts up the body of the girl and brushes the hair aside to reveal that it's Ginny.
Yeah, it's
So
Ginny.
now we have Ginny 1
and
and
Ginny
Ginny 2. So Ginny 1 calls Ginny 2 little sister.
Right.
And Ginny 1 starts cleaning off Ginny 2 and takes off the blue top she was wearing to reveal the same white dress.
So they're wearing the same thing.
Yeah. Ginny 1 tells number 2 to take a good long look. And Ginny 2's now awake now.
Yeah.
And she's like, you did all this. I did all this for you. Yet you ruined that. Since she ruined her last party, she made sure this time everyone was here just like she always wanted. And as a special treat, they all get to watch you die.
Yeah.
So Ginny 1 places a knife in number 2's hand and says, first murder, then suicide. Everyone will know just how crazy poor little Ginny went. And Ginny 2 becomes a struggle. And during the struggle, Ginny 2 grabs Ginny 1 by the hairline and pulls. And Ginny 2 pulls the face off of Ginny 1 to reveal Anne. So it was Anne wearing the most lifelike mask ever seen the whole fucking time.
Amazing lifelike mask ever seen.
This is face-off movie level face switching here.
Not since Return to Horror High have we seen such a degree of an amazing mask.
Yeah.
When the principal was the old Amos blackface. Yeah. Whatever his name was.
Man with the
black so it's this amazing, perfect replica mask.
Her face.
No one can tell the difference.
I mean, it's like the shit you see in like Mission Impossible now. It's like or something or some. Yeah, It's fucking bonkers nuts. So confused for a second, she's like, "Wait, what the fuck?" Ginny stops struggling, and Anne tells her she planned it all out, so she would never expect a thing. And she goes into starts explaining how she did it all, and we see flashbacks of all the murders and how Anne took out Ginny with chloroform.
This
first,
is
and
where
then took her place.
I lost it.
Yeah,
I lost it. I was so upset with how this all happened because I'm actually enjoying this movie up until a point. And I click on it, and there's only like 5 minutes left. And this is the big reveal, is that fucking Anne has been chasing her around, and every time Ginny gets close to somebody, she chloroforms them. And knocks it. So she's like, okay, you remember when you were talking to this guy? Chloroform. Ooh. And then she took her place. Chloroform. Boo. Chloroform. Boo.
Yeah.
How many times did she get fucking knocked out with chloroform? Like 3 or 4 times.
So many times. And which I guess is supposed to say why
It's
she wakes
so
up not
stupid.
remembering anything.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's bad.
It really pissed me off.
So now Anne takes off the white dress, reveal the blue sweater and jeans she was wearing earlier. She tells Ginny that it's her turn to die and that Ginny is just like her mother, a fucking whore. And which we learned Ginny's mother was her father's mistress. And so when Anne's father fucked Ginny's mom, resulting in Ginny's birth, this led to Anne's mom leaving and the family falling apart. So obviously Anne blames Ginny for everything, for ruining their lives, and tells her that she should have died the night in the canal when they fell off the bridge.
Yeah.
Anne goes to kill Ginny again, and there's a very, very short struggle, but basically it ends in a very anticlimactically when Anne gets basically kind of almost stabs herself.
Yeah, like
She
they
gets
struggle
stabbed,
over the knife.
and then Ginny kind of moves her hand and it's like kind of ends up stabbing herself. Right as Anne falls down dead, the police detective walks in from fucking nowhere. Where's he come from?
It's like he's just walking past.
Yeah, it's like
He just like walks
hey.
dooper dooper doo and just glances in and goes, "What did you do?"
Yeah, he sees Ginny standing over the body, holding a bloody knife with blood on her dress.
All these dead bodies behind her.
Yeah, and the camera zooms in on Ginny, just zooms in on her as we hear
Happy birthday to me. Yeah.
Over blackout roll credits. Now, during the credits, you get a different version of Happy Birthday to Me, which is like a more pop, like an actual, not like the song Happy Birthday to Me, Happy Birthday to You, or whatever. It's an actual like song, but I really liked it. I don't know if you listened to it, but it's a really nice combination of like creepy and eerie mixed with like sadness. I really thought it was a pretty cool song.
The music in this, the score is fantastic.
It really is. The music's good. So, moving on. That's it. That's the movie.
That's the movie.
That's the movie. So we're moving on to favorite kills.
There can be only one. Favorite kill.
So again, not many in this movie.
Not a lot. No,
like 6 or 7. So what you got? And what's your favorite kill?
My favorite kill, even though I kind of had a problem with it, weightlifting kill.
Okay.
Funniest fucking kill I think I've seen in a long time. Guys holding up weights, come on, come on, come on. It seems like a big gag. It's hilarious. I could see myself doing this with my jock friends. Like, what, you can't hold it, pussy? And then drop a weight on his balls. Like, oh, but I didn't think his head would pop off.
Right.
But that's my favorite kill by far.
I'm right there with you. My favorite kill was the weight bench.
All right.
It totally was. Like, there's a few other like unique ones. Like the motorcycle's kind of unique. I've never seen anybody kill the shish kebab before.
Yeah.
But the weight bench, just because he drops it, like say he drops it on his fucking nuts.
That's
which
hilarious.
Yeah. So both our favorite kills, clean sweep this week, with the weight benching, weights to nuts kill.
Weights to nuts.
Weights to nuts. Moving on to the odds and the ends.
Not only did they watch these films, they researched them too. Ugh, what is wrong with these guys?
All right, starting off odds and ends with as always with our ratings. We have IMDb coming in at 6.0 out of 10. So one of the higher scores of most movies we do. Rotten Tomatoes, 30% on the tomato meter with a 41% audience score. And Amazon being Amazon, no surprise, 3.6 out of 5. Plot keywords. There were a lot, but nothing really surprising. The only ones I thought were a little weird to see as a plot keyword for a movie that somebody would look up was heavy rain, scarf. And this one I thought was hilarious because most people have heard the Saliva song "Bodies Hit the Floor." Well, this plot keyword is panties hit the floor.
Ooh.
So I thought that was
watch the panties hit the floor. Watch the panties hit the floor.
Oh, and
that was Drowning Pool. That's who it was.
Oh,
it was Drowning Pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, and then the best one, which I've never even heard this word before, Canucksploitation or canoe-ploitation, like blaxploitation movies. Or this was like
Canucks.
Yeah, it's like
Canada.
Canadian exploitation.
Canucksploitation. That's weird.
Yeah, it's really, really weird.
That's really strange.
So trivia. I actually found a lot of trivia on this movie. Way more than I thought I would.
You started off the podcast with a lot of trivia about all the people on X-Men.
Well, that's just
video
that's
games
just
and stuff like that.
This is just on the movie itself.
Okay.
Which was surprising because like last week we had like nothing come up.
Right.
Now the press reported in order to keep the twist ending a secret, several endings were shot, but this is untrue. It helped hide the fact that while they were shooting, the film had no ending at the time when they started shooting.
I believe it because the ending was fucking horrible. I was so upset with the ending.
The script was written with one ending that made sense to the story, but it did not have a twist. So it's basically there's no twist ending. So producers proceed to start filming while tinkering with the twist ending, which explains why there's no real build up leading to the ending.
So
it just comes out of nowhere. It says when certain cast members were stuck in their gore makeup for numerous hours, they decided to walk around the neighborhood and scare people.
That's kind of
Which is kind of funny. Like if you're bored in the makeup, why not?
Yeah.
Now most of the ads and posters for this film showed a photo of a young man about to be orally impaled with a screw of meat and vegetable, which is what the movie I saw most people see it. And with the slogan says, "John will never eat shish kebab again." The problem is there's no character named John in the movie.
Yeah.
It's awesome, but this is most likely a reference to producer John C. Saxon. But there's no character named John in the movie.
That's stupid. Look, clever little wink, wink, nudge, nudge that we're going to show everyone before the movie's even out. That's dumb.
Yeah. I could have yeah. For a short time, this was the highest grossing movie ever in Canadian film history until Porky's came out shortly after 1981.
Way to go, Porky's.
Or at 82, I'm sorry. The brain surgery operation, which was performed in this movie, was done by a real neurosurgeon, but it was honestly a fake brain. But,
because
it was a real surgeon.
When I was watching this, I was like, wow, they're actually following protocol very well. I mean, they're using good medical terminology. They're returning the flap, but the bone flap properly. And also, the patient is conscious during
the brain surgery, which they are.
So
they brought in like real medical people to do it.
I was pretty impressed.
Fake.
Yeah. Sure.
So the movie poster has there's a movie poster that has one of the longest blurbs, taglines in movie history. That's John will never eat shish kebab again. Steven will never ride a motorcycle again, which wasn't even Steven. Greg will never lift weights again. Who's killing Crawford High snobbish top 10? At the rate they're going, there will be no one left for Virginia's birthday party alive. Happy birthday to me. 6 of the most bizarre murders you'll ever see. That was like the blurb or tagline on a movie poster.
That's really long.
That is insanely long. And I kind of already covered this because this talks about the music controversy over the score changing. So I'm going to skip over that one.
Again, the score was fantastic.
Yeah.
It really was.
There's rumors that actor Glenn Ford, who played Dr. David Faraday and Superman's dad, he was like just drunk throughout the production of this. He was just drinking all the time on set.
It's very Canadian. That's very awesome.
This is one of 2 1981 slasher movies made by producers and Andre Link and John Dunning, first released in that year. The other was My Bloody Valentine, which is another kind of famous slasher movie. So this movie was submitted several times to the MPAA to keep from getting slapped with an X rating due to the gruesome murders. The following bits ultimately had to be trimmed for an R rating. Burned at throat, gushing blood instead of just what we saw. A graphic image of Ettini mutilated by the dirt bike, and there's his name, Etiennee.
Let me see it.
Ettini, right? Right there.
All right.
I don't know how you pronounce it. It's Ettini, I don't know. But anyway, that's the name. Yeah. So anyway,
I can't pronounce
his
it.
face.
Yeah.
That scene was supposed to be much more graphic of him being mutilated. More gruesome brain surgery shots. A bloodier impact of the bench press on Greg. More violent bludgeoning of Dr. Faraday with the poker. And the film finally got an R after cutting a lot of those back.
See, I thought the blood and the effects were pretty decent, but you're right. I could see that they
get cut
seem
away.
to kind of pull back some. From
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But there are rumors that there are some rare prints circulating on the internet that have the complete uncut sequences. So supposedly they're out there if you want to try to find them. The original script ending had Virginia unsurprisingly revealed as the film's killer. Having sliced her way through most of the cast before finally being caught. However, filmmakers felt the ending was all too predictable, with Ginny being the killer, and rewrote it into a far more twisted revelation where the ending of the murder is revealed to be Anne, which I thought was kind of lame. I have really mixed feelings about it.
Really hate the ending. I hate it so much.
Amelia was originally killed by way of an axe to the head, but the scene was cut to avoid getting an X rating. She was the one who was staying out there looking all goofy.
Yeah. And so she could just be hanging out there still.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, who knows how
She could still just be like, "Durr."
Yeah.
She could be out there today, Marshall.
Yeah.
We don't know.
She's still lost in the woods.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well,
And this
carrying
one
a
because
present.
we just covered the fact that it's Steve would never ride a motorcycle again, but we already covered that. It's actually. Now, the filming locations. This was kind of weird just because, you can find out where the car, but I've never seen a more specific filming location. Like, they give the exact street address and building number for where this places were shot.
We can actually
You could go there if they're still standing. Yeah. Well, one is because it's from Concordia University was used as Crawford Academy in Montreal, Quebec. But it even says 1455 Day Mas. I can't pronounce this French Canadian word. Boulevard, West Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So you can go there. And then all the vehicle stunts we saw that we talked about were done in Phoenix, New York, not Arizona.
Ooh.
And in 647 Rue, Maine, Hudson, Quebec, Canada is Virginia Wainwright's is that street of the house.
So we can actually
You
go
could go
tour.
there.
Do they have the address for the inn?
No. I didn't get that.
I want to go drink
So
there.
you can go see Ginny's house and find it out.
and go check out Crawford Academy.
You totally, which is Concordia University.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to everyone's favorite game, the budget game. We get to play it today.
All right, let's do it.
Guess the budget. They spent how much? The budget game.
All right. So now keep in mind this is Canadian movie. So this is in Canadian dollars.
So can I guess it in loons?
It's actually it's under CAD, so Canadian American dollar. I don't know.
Like, so, because the Canadian dollar is a coin dollar, and they call it a loon or a
Yes.
loony, because it has a picture of the goose, the loon on it, yeah.
So, what is your guess for this budget?
Columbia Pictures,
Let me a picture.
major production company in the 80s, great score. They put some money into the score and gore.
Aha, ding.
I'm a poet and I didn't know it. 80s money. 1.5 million. 1.5 million.
1.5 million is the guess.
Okay.
Aaron, although you've kind of reversed your habit of going way over to coming in way under now because
Huh.
the budget $3.5 million.
You know, I should have thought about it when they fucked up all those cars. Because they fucked up a lot of cars.
A lot of cars. All right, so that's it. $3.5 million.
$3.5 million. Wow. So I was off by $2 million.
Yep.
It's pretty. It's not bad if it's a huge budget movie, but it's not a huge budget movie. So
We're in the 80s, who knows? But
yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to 5-star reviews.
These special movies have a place in these special people's hearts. 5-star reviews.
All right, from just a customer. This is about the scariest teen horror movie you'll ever see that has a decent plot to go along with it. 5 stars.
Simple. Okay.
Simple, but it's not that scary. It's really not a real scary movie, I wouldn't think. But
Yeah, it's not really a scare. Yeah.
From GBV for me, I have no idea what that means. If you couldn't tell from the DVD cover, this movie is awesome. So much fun to watch. There's some pretty creative kills here. A skewer of meat, come on. And a rather complicated story with a great twist at the end, especially for 1981. As long as you can stomach 80s outfits, hairdos, and catchphrases, there's no reason someone wouldn't like this movie. So to sum it up, watch it already and enjoy. 5 stars.
Okay.
From Caroline. This movie definitely merits multiple watchings. The cast is excellent, particularly Melissa Sue Anderson. There's a definite suspense to the film. It will keep you guessing. The closing sequence is almost unbearably tense and cool. Great makeup, great murders. It's the bomb.
Ooh, okay.
5 stars.
So we're going back to 2003. It's the bomb.
Yeah, that's why it's the bomb. From Tracy Ruch, R-U-C-H. I don't know. Great. This is all bold and all caps, so just take it for what you will.
It's great.
Great classic 80s horror movie that never loses its touch. This is up there with April Fool's Day, My Bloody Valentine, and Mother's Day. Was there no holiday that the 80s didn't pick on? Yes. Easter. 5 stars.
Yes. Easter. Well, I think we need to make a movie about Easter now.
Well, keep in mind, when we did Thanksgiving, it was almost an Easter movie.
That's right, yeah.
Searched it. From Goddess and Janny, I must admit that I have not watched this movie yet, but I will soon. It's on the same genre as Bloody Birthday and Prom Night. It looks like a good horror classic. 5 stars.
What the balls is wrong with people when they give movies 5 stars? And this is not their first one.
No, it's not.
I'm saying I haven't seen it yet, but 5 stars, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
I was like, why even put that on there?
Idiots.
Last 5-star one. Thiago Amora. I hope one day they release an uncut, more gory version of the film in the near future, possibly on Blu-ray. But until then, I've marked 10/13 on my calendar as the official release of one of the best slasher horror movies of all time. Don't believe me? Watch Scream after this one and have a view-by-view comparison. It literally rips this film off. 5 stars.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I had 2 1-star reviews that were kind of funny, but I'm going to skip over them just because I kind of want to touch this thing on Scream because I saw that made me think. Because I did comment it earlier that the opening is like, because he's right into the kill right away. There's no credits, there's no build up, it's just kill, then move into the story. And that's what Scream did and brought into the cold open kill game.
Okay.
And it kind of relaunched that into modern day horror movies. Now, almost every horror movie now has a cold open kill.
I can concede that.
And then you take into account, you have I know this is common, but you have the tight-knit group of high school friends.
The hotties.
The hot group in high school. It is kind of a whodunit movie because even in Scream, you kind of know you think it's somebody they know, but you don't know who, but people are dropping off. So it's like eliminating suspects, but who is it? The girl has previous trauma in her past life.
Her mom was killed. Yeah,
mom was
her
killed.
Murdered.
Yeah,
like, horrifically. Yeah.
So there are a lot of similarities I see between it. So there's a point that they might have borrowed from it, but I don't know if they.
Then there is the twist ending where everyone was calling her mom in Scream a whore who slept around with people.
That's true.
And if you remember, it was also in this movie.
Yeah.
It was the mom. Like that was the reason Anne was so upset because it was the mom that caused her parents to get
And
divorced.
they killed the main killer, Skeet Ulrich character,
Yeah.
was pissed off because Sidney's mom fucked his dad. and
Yeah,
broke fun of his
yeah,
family.
yeah,
So
yeah.
See, there's a lot. There, he has a point. There's a lot
There's
there's a lot of
there's some
similarities.
interesting similarities there. That's a good. That's. I'll go ahead and My first inclination was like, no, that's silly comparison. And now after hearing and talking about it, and even myself going, oh wait, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll
Makes you think.
concede. I'll
Makes you
concede
think.
some of that. Yeah.
So moving on to final recommendation. So Bad's Good, So Bad It's Scary. Aaron, what are your closing thoughts on this movie?
This movie really captivated me to a point. I mean, to be perfectly honest, the score was amazing. The acting, not bad. I could see the way the characters played off each other very, very well. But the things that really drug it down was the inconsistency, like the weird recovery with the brain. Like they just kind of skirted over that about how she amazingly recovered. They skirted over the fact that they had strong relationships because they were constantly swapping back and forth. And then the thing that just drug it down for me was the twist ending, which other people talk about. The ending was so bad and such a swerve, it just took me completely out of it. In the last 10 minutes of the movie, I was just cussing, and I was holding my iPad screaming, what the fuck was going on? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. I was so mad. Because the ending was so tragic, I was enjoying it up until the last 10 minutes. It was so bad, it ruined it for me. So bad it's scary.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I am kind of in the same boat you because I'm torn. Because even though it's a long movie, I found myself kind of intrigued by it. Like, okay,
Yeah.
this is it's interesting. I like it. For the 80s, it was pretty unique. For at that time, the kind of the dawn of the slasher movies, it was unique for its time.
The acting's not bad.
No, it's not.
The
Melissa
gore
Sue
isn't
Anderson does a
bad.
fine job.
The music's good.
Music's great. Music's so good. But I agree. It's like, and that's another thing. In a lot of the comments and reviews, people are torn with the end. Either people loved it or hated it.
I hated it.
And I think, like, I have no problem if you want to reveal Melissa Sue, Ginny as a killer. So be it. If it's predictable at the time, it's the 80s. Who cares? It's okay to be predictable. At that time, it's the same time. Like everybody knew Jason and Freya, they're the killers, but people still love those movies. So you don't need to know. But I could handle the twist if there was just a little bit more setup to it.
Right.
Because they kind of abandon, Jenny's going crazy. She got this brain damage. Okay, that leads to go crazy. And then just dump all that and say, nope, it's
They
Anne.
said, nope, I just chloroformed your ass
Yeah.
4 or 5 times in a row.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I give it credit for taking a bold risk and trying to do a twist and something bold and different. But I'm going to split. Aaron says So Bad It's Scary. I'm going to say, even though I have issues with it, I'm going to say So Bad It's Good. It's worth watching for, some unique kills. The music is awesome. It's great for its time. If you have the time, I'm going to say So Bad It's Good. Give it a watch.
All right. So before we end it up,
Okay.
this is what I would have liked to have seen, or at least what I thought would have made more sense, or something that could have happened. Tell me if you like this better or not.
Okay.
The very end scene. Ginny's walking in with the big birthday cake, puts it down. The dead, decaying mom is there. The dad's got his hand on his face. He's crying. I think we should have had a connection of personalities. Like the Ginny took on certain aspects of the mom's personality, and that's why you had when she woke up hungover, she became the mom.
Oh, you want a dissociative
Yes.
personality disorder?
Yes.
Dissociative.
Yes.
Something like that.
She basically had a split personality,
personality.
where she took on the mom's personality when she blacked out because the mom hated those snotty little kids because they didn't show up to her party. So
Yeah.
she picked them off one by one
That's
because
an
you know
interesting
what?
point.
They're going to be at that party.
Yeah.
And during the whole brain surgery thing, and he's like, oh, the doctors say you'd be okay. And that would be kind of cool, I think. That'd be a kind of a different twist. That's a good twist where you don't have someone pulling off a face mask and chloroforming someone 12 times.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's better
you know
than what
what?
I thought that was. I think that would be
That
better.
could have been interesting. Yeah. I mean, again, it's a little bit of a twist ending, but
Sure.
still explain why. Yeah, I could have gone with that. I could have been happy with that ending. So there you go. That's our opinion. If you guys
I like
watch
mine
it-
better. Mine's better.
Yeah, if you guys have watched it, if you have an opinion on this, drop us a line. You can, check us out on our Facebook page. Our website is horriblehorrorpodcast.com. You can email us through there. You can follow us on Twitter at So Bad It's Scary. You can also find us on Podbean at horriblehorror.podbean.com. And you can subscribe to us, like us, and check us out on iTunes. All this is 100% free because we love you guys so much.
We do this for fun.
We
Yeah.
do it. So yeah, that's it. We will be back in a week with another episode. So until then, watch more horror movies. Take care and peace out. We'll see you next week, Moon Goons.
See you, dudes.